Okay, guys, so let's get started without any further ado. Before we do so, a quick formal introduction on my name is Mohammed Shoaib. I will be your cybersecurity trainer, and we are taking up a demo on this course called Certified Ethical Hacking V13. So again, I currently work as a senior penetration tester. I've been working in this domain for the last 7 years, which again based in Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh, okay, in India. And I have been training students on this course called Certified Ethical Hacking and a few other advanced courses as well, such as web application penetration testing or SOC analysis. Okay. Now, when we talk about this course, Certified Ethical Hacking, this is something which is again created by an organization called EC Council, a globally recognized organization based in California, United States. Okay, and it specializes in training and certifications in the domain of cybersecurity, especially. So their specialization itself is cybersecurity certifications and trainings. And the first course that you have to learn to enter into this domain of cybersecurity is called Certified Ethical Hacker or Certified Ethical Hacking version 13. Okay. This is the latest version of the course. Every few years, the version gets updated. The latest tools and the latest techniques and the latest attacks and defense methods have been added. And again, as we progress with our courses, you'll be again with this entire course, you'll also be learning those same tools which are used in real time. It's a completely practical implemented course, completely with hands-on practicals and the tools and simulations which are used in real time. Okay, no theory. This is not a theoretical course. I would say if I had to define it in a ratio, it's around 80-20 ratio. Almost the 80% of the course is practical itself, with 20% being a bit theoretical. Okay. Now let's get into it without any further ado, so you have a better idea about this entire course and what its contents are. Okay. We'll start the demo today with the definitions of what hacking and ethical hacking is, because a lot of students have a misconception that they are one and the same. So let's clarify that first. Okay. So when we talk about hacking, this here is the procedure of trying to gain access to information systems. Now, what I mean by that phrase, gaining access to information systems, is if I were a hacker for say, and if I've hacked your phone or your computer, it basically means I've complete control of that device now and the data on it. I can steal your data, I can modify or destroy your data, I can sell your data to other people. And all of this is done without your permission and without your knowledge. So you wouldn't even have a clue that something like this is happening on your device. Okay. And this can be replicated on any devices. I've taken the example of a mobile phone, but you can replicate this to much larger devices as well, or much more critical devices as well, such as web servers or web application servers or your databases or your cloud environment, etc., etc. Okay. So hacking is the procedure of trying to gain access to information systems without the permission and without the knowledge of the person or the organization owning those systems. And this is usually performed by hackers for their own benefit. Okay. And sometimes hackers are so mischievous, they can even do it just for fun, okay, without any personal benefit. Now, if hacking is such a malicious activity, why do we have a course called ethical hacking? And how is this getting ethical in the first place? That's the question. Okay. To define ethical hacking, on the other hand, this is the procedure of trying to find vulnerabilities. So this terminology called vulnerability is something that we'll keep coming across a lot in the upcoming sessions. To define it, it's a loophole, it's a flaw or a weakness in the information system. And what hackers do is they take advantage of these loopholes itself to perform the hacking. Okay, so they take advantage, they exploit these loopholes, and they attack on them to get access to your devices. And our job as ethical hackers is to find these same loopholes with the consent and with the knowledge of the organization. So we don't cross any boundaries, we don't cross any lines, we don't do anything unethically. Everything is done with the prior permission of the organization. We work hand in hand with the organization to find the vulnerabilities and to report it back to the company. And once the company gets the vulnerabilities reported, they will apply the necessary security updates that we suggest them. And therefore, you're again removing or remediating all the loopholes. You're patching up the system so that no other person or no other cyber criminal can take advantage of those vulnerabilities anymore. Okay. So in ethical hacking, you're basically finding the vulnerabilities in the information system with the consent and with the knowledge of the organization, and you're reporting it back so that the companies can apply the necessary security updates. And once these updates are applied, once these patches are applied, there's no other possibility for any exploitation anymore. And thereby you're protecting the organization from these cyber criminals. Okay. Is that clear? Any questions or doubts up to this point? Anyone? Saif, Ravis, Baba Sahib, Lena.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Good morning, sir.
Good morning. Good
You
morning,
ask.
Baba.
Good morning. You asking something, sir?
Hey, I was asking if there's any questions also, Baba Sahib. Any
Uh,
queries or questions or doubts up to this point?
Not yet, sir. I will ask it last.
Perfect, perfect. Good. So moving on. So depending on these two definitions, we can categorize the various types of hackers. And there are three broad categories. There's someone known as a white hat hacker, there's someone known as a gray hat hacker, and there's someone known as a black hat hacker. Your black hat hackers are typical cyber criminals who perform hacking for their own benefit or just for fun. These are also commonly known as, again, your cyber attackers or cyber criminals itself. Okay. On the other end of the spectrum, we have white hat hackers. These are the people who perform ethical hacking. Okay. They abide by the laws and policies of the company. They work for securing the company's infrastructure, hence known as ethical hackers. And in between, there's a third mysterious category called gray hat hackers. These are people who, again, have both the qualities of black hat as well as a white hat hacker. Like a black hat hacker, they don't ask for permission first. They don't do everything according to the rules. They find the vulnerabilities without asking for consent. But once they do find a vulnerability, they don't take advantage of it. They don't misuse it. They rather report it back to the company itself. But there's a minor catch here. They don't do this for free or out of goodwill. They do it in return for a bounty. A bounty is like a financial reward they expect in return for reporting that vulnerability. And therefore, they're working both offensively and defensively for their financial benefit. Okay. But they're not misusing or they're not causing any harm to the organization. They're like freelance hackers, finding vulnerabilities and reporting it back for a minimal price. Okay. And therefore, they're also commonly known as bug bounty hunters, hunting for bugs in return for a bounty, a financial reward. Now, no matter what category of a hacker you take, black hat hackers or gray hat hackers or white hat hackers, all of these are professionals who perform hacking or ethical hacking with a certain procedure. And that procedure is called as cyber kill chain. Some organizations also prefer to call it as hacking cycle. It's one and the same. Okay. And this is the same procedure that we work on in our organization as well in real time. Okay. To define it, this is the procedure that hackers follow in order to perform a successful cyber attack. And the same knowledge of this procedure also allows cybersecurity professionals to understand how these attacks are being performed, to detect these attacks again at the earliest time possible, and prevent them at every level in the organization. Okay, because unless and until you know how these attacks are being possible or how these attacks are made possible, you would not know what to defend your systems against. Okay, so to have a proper understanding of how to defend your system from the various cyber threats, you need to know what kind of cyber threats are possible and how they are being made possible. Okay, and that's what the main agenda of this course is: understanding how hackers perform these attacks, and as ethical hackers, how do we find the same vulnerabilities and how do we protect our organization from those vulnerabilities and remediate it. Okay, so this consists of five important stages, guys. First stage is called as information gathering. Second stage is scanning. Third stage is gaining access. Fourth stage is maintaining access. And the last stage is reporting or clearing traces. You can clearly observe only in the last stage there are two different terminologies: reporting or clearing traces. That is a clear indication that the first four stages are exactly similar for any category of a hacker. Whether you be a cyber criminal or an ethical hacker, first four steps are exactly similar. No difference in that. What varies is only the last step, okay, reporting or clearing traces. Okay, we'll cover each of these steps now one by one. Okay, just give me 1 second, guys. Apologies about that. I just need to get some water. Moving on. So let's talk about each of these phases now so you have a better understanding about the entire course here. Okay. So the first stage is called as information gathering. As the name itself suggests, this is basically where the hackers or ethical hackers try to obtain as much information or data as possible about your target organization or your client. And an important piece of information to note here is you're getting all this data passively. What I mean by passively is you do not contact the organization in any way. All the data for that organization is obtained from third-party sources, okay, especially from various websites on the internet. Okay. Some organizations also refer to this step as reconnaissance or footprinting, so don't get confused with these different terminologies. No matter what wording you use here, the main objective, as mentioned, is to gather data or research data about your target client. But the question that arises here is what kind of data are you looking for? What data do you need to obtain? And this here is the information as follows that is required to be obtained. You need to get the IP addresses, you need to get the network blocks, you need the who's records, you need the DNS records, you need the domains and the subdomains of the organization. You need the operating system information, you need the employee details, you need contact numbers of the employees, you need email addresses of the employees, and if possible, usernames and passwords as well of those same employees, which might have been leaked online in data breaches. Believe it or not, all of this information is readily available on the internet. The only thing is you need to know what those websites are from where you can obtain this information. Okay. And I know some pieces of this, again, some wordings here or some pieces of this information might sound a bit gibberish to you. You might not know certain wordings here, but as we progress, I'm going to explain everything in detail so you have a complete understanding of all these topics. Okay. And if I show you a simple practical example for this, let's say if I wanted to get the DNS records or domains or subdomains for an organization, I can just go to my browser and simply visit a website called DNS Dumpster, a very popular website in the cybersecurity domain. So if you click on dnsdumpster.com here, you can enter any domain of your choice. Okay, for example, if I go for wipro.com, again, if I click on start test, you can enter any domain again as mentioned. Now this provides me the DNS records. What I mean by DNS records are the linking between each of their domains and their exact IP addresses. So this website is hosted on a server with this public IP. This website autodiscover.wipro.com is hosted on a server with this exact public IP. So these IP addresses are very crucial for a hacker because on these IPs itself, you perform the upcoming stages of the attacks. Okay. So as a penetration tester, in the first stage of information gathering, you make a note, you write a report with all this information that you can obtain because this information is utilized in the upcoming stages. Okay. When you have to perform the next stage, which is scanning, you would scan these IP addresses itself. Okay, for each of these domains and subdomains of that organization. And again, this is publicly available information, guys. We're not stealing any information here. We're not doing anything illegal. This information is given out by Wipro itself so that clients can connect to their websites. Okay, but it's scattered across the internet. It's not in one single place. This website, DNS Dumpster, is basically collecting all that data and putting it in one place. Okay. So that's all it's doing. It's not stealing information. You're not accessing anything illegally or nothing. You're just getting it from a source which is collaborating all that information from different servers and putting it in one single page. Okay. So similarly, there are other websites to get the other pieces of information as well. Information gathering is all about you researching the internet for all the data that is required, which could be helpful for you to perform the attack. Okay, it's like you researching the attack base. Okay, the more information you find, the more attack vectors, the more possibilities you can find to attack the target system. Okay. So once the data has been obtained, once you have obtained all the information here, then you utilize that in the next phase, which is called as scanning. Excuse me. Let's check today. Apologies about that. So moving on. After information gathering, we have the next stage here, which is called as scanning. This is also commonly referred to as enumeration. And the objective here is to get some extra data, but not anymore by passive methods, not by researching, but by using certain tools in cybersecurity to get extra data from the target devices itself. Okay. So here you get active and aggressive information. Okay, so you're not researching any more data from the internet. Whatever data you obtain, on that data you use certain tools to get extra information. Okay, and to understand what that extra information is, we can divide scanning in three parts. There's something called as network scanning, there's something called as port scanning, and then there's something called as vulnerability scanning. Network scanning is where in the organization you try to figure out what devices exist. So what servers are they using? What firewalls are they using? Are they using any security measures, intrusion detection systems, intrusion prevention systems? How many client operating system desktops do they have? What routers are they using? So basically getting their internal network topology is network scanning, getting to know their internal network and what devices exist in their network. Okay. Once you know what devices exist, on those devices you perform something called port scanning. Every device has 65,535 logical ports. Okay. Now these are built on the operating system, and we'll be discussing a lot more in depth on that. But these ports are where your system uses for communicating and running various services and applications. And in port scanning, we try to figure out on each device what of those ports are available, how many of those ports are open, what services are running on those ports, and what applications are they using. That's what is port scanning for. And once you know what port scanning is, and once you figure out what devices are running what ports and what services, finally we perform vulnerability scanning, where we try to figure out if any of those services, start AI companion. What is this? I've never heard of this, but anyways. Okay, moving on. So as mentioned, so when you talk about vulnerability scanning, this is where you try to find the vulnerabilities in the services. Okay. Basically, whatever applications you have, whatever services you have running on your systems, if there are any loopholes, if there are any misconfigurations on those to attack the system. Okay. So during this phase, we'll be working on three or two important tools. Okay, so they're called as Tenable, Nessus, and Nmap. Okay, Nmap, oh, sorry, Nmap here is a completely open source tool. It's one of the best tools available for network and port scanning. It's been there since 1997, if I'm not wrong. Okay, and still one of the best tools available for performing network and port scanning. Okay, and a lot of other commercial tools also use Nmap in their source code. Okay, moving on. After this, you have another tool called Tenable Nessus. Now, this here is not open source. It's quite expensive, actually. We use the same tool in our organization also. It's around $7,000 or $7,500 to be precise. Okay. And that only for 1 year subscription again. Every year, the company needs to pay this amount to run this tool in the organization. And I would say this is worth the price because it is capable of comprehensively scanning the entire organization and telling you which system contains what loopholes or what vulnerabilities. It can generate an automated report for you, and that report can be utilized to perform penetration testing or basically the attacks on the upcoming stages. Okay. If I show you, I think I have this tool on my personal laptop as well. Yep, I have it here. If I log in with my credentials, this is what Tenable Nessus looks like. Okay. Once you scan your network, you can basically figure out what devices contain what category of vulnerabilities, as you can see. So all the vulnerabilities are categorized in 5 levels: critical, high, medium, information based, and low. In an organization, you should never have critical, high, or medium based vulnerabilities. If you do so, again, attackers can use those to perform various cyber threats. Okay, so this is what the Nessus looks, Nessus Tenable Nessus tool looks like. It gives you a complete comprehensive report on what system contains how many vulnerabilities, what those vulnerabilities are, what are the solutions to apply for those, and how do you perform the pen test verification for it. Okay, so we'll be working on this practically, just trying to show you what tools we'll be working on. These are the same exact tools which are mentioned in the job descriptions as well. This course is designed in such a way, in a practical way, where you learn the tools which are supposed to be known by pen testers when you join a company. Okay, that's all practical implemented as mentioned. We'll be working on the same tools hands-on, okay, which I usually work on in my organization. Okay. So moving on, after that, after the scanning phase is done, after you know what vulnerabilities exist, next phase is nothing but gaining access. The phase where the real hacking occurs. Okay. So you have all the information that is required. You know what systems contain what vulnerabilities. The next phase is nothing but attacking on those vulnerabilities. Okay. So this is the phase where the attackers use the vulnerabilities found in the earlier stages to attack a certain system and gain access to it, or a certain application or the entire network as well. Okay, so this is the core of the subject, covers a vast variety of topics here, if you notice. Now, don't worry, some of these might seem a bit gibberish to you, but I'll try to explain them briefly so you have a better understanding about this entire module gaining access. So, just a second. Does anyone have any questions, guys? I think someone has started annotating on the screen. Any questions or doubts up to this point?
We are confused. What should I? We are asking question about this. This is new for us.
Come again, Baba Sahib. I didn't get your question.
This is totally new for us. So
Definitely, definitely.
we are
So I'm
confused.
just trying to explain what topics we'll be covering through the course. Okay, this is
Yeah.
just a demo to give you a brief understanding of what we do as pen testers and organizations, what tools we'll be working on, what is the procedure that you follow. It's a step-by-step five-stage procedure. Okay, so I'm explaining all of that. Again, definitely not possible in one single demo to learn everything, but just to give you a brief intro, like what it is to work as a penetration tester in your day-to-day life. Okay. So that's all. Again, just it's just the tip of the iceberg, I would say. Okay.
Uh,
But for that, any questions or doubts up to this point?
uh, I think we have some ticket related to cross-site scripting. So what concept is it?
So your voice is getting muffled, Baba Sahib. You were mentioning something about cross-site scripting. What?
Yes.
Uh-huh,
Last time we got the security ticket related to cross-site scripting.
uh-huh, uh-huh.
So
Okay.
what it did that does?
What is cross-site scripting is your question. Acha, if you notice on the screen, it's mentioned over here as well, cross-site scripting. That's a web application vulnerability. Okay. If I have to just clarify that first, very simple example. Go to your browser, go to a website like this, testphp.oneweb.com. This is a dummy website. It's a testing ground for pen testers to learn various web application vulnerabilities. Now, in most websites, you have these search bars. You have search bars, you have comment boxes, you have review pages, you have feedback boxes, whatnot, where you can enter some data. So if I type Baba Sahib here, you can see that word is getting reflected back to me here. If I right click and inspect element, you can see that word is being added in the web page. Okay. If I modify the word from here, if I add Shoaib, you can see that is reflecting in the page. Okay. So this is a place, again, these input fields are places where you can add data to the web page. Okay. Other examples of such places are comment boxes. If you enter something in the comment, it gets stored on the server itself, where you're able to add user data. In such places, only textual data should be allowed. Okay, so whatever the user is entering, it should only be treated as text. Okay, it should never be treated as code. If it is being treated as code, that is called as cross-site scripting, where the user is able to inject their own code into the web page. So now your web pages are typically built on three languages: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay, and if I enter a JavaScript code here, something like, let's say, if I enter something like script, this is the opening tag, and I can use a function, a very basic function, something like alert. I can use alert or prompt or confirm. These are all various different functions to give you a pop-up on the screen. So if I give a confirm function here, let's say we give some random data, XSS is working. Okay, and I can give the closing tag again. Okay, and if I copy this now, and if I paste it here, and if I click on go, carefully observe what happens. The page is not treating it as text data. It is treating as code. So when I entered that script, I got a pop-up on my screen. XSS is working. This should not have happened. If this is happening, it means the user is capable of injecting any malicious script on the page and perform unwanted actions. Here, I've just used a very basic script like a pop-up script, but hackers can write scripts to steal cookies of other users or inject malicious links in the web page or deface the entire website. They can write their own malicious scripts to perform any action they want. Okay, so this is an example of cross-site scripting. where hackers are capable of injecting their own JavaScript code into other websites and make other users access that page to perform unwanted actions. Okay, cross-site scripting across a website, you're adding your own script and infecting others' devices who are accessing the same website. Okay, so that's a brief intro on what cross-site scripting is. A simple practical example on it. Okay. Is that clear, Baba Sahib?
Yes, yes, I got it now.
Right. Now, moving back to again, no worry, we'll discuss that a lot more in depth in the upcoming sessions in the course, actually. But just to shorten it in a very brief manner to explain it right now, I've shown that. Okay. Excuse me, just a bit sick today. Yeah, any other questions or doubts up to this point? Anyone else? Arafat, Saif, Ravs, Sai Kumar, Shekhar, KG, Baba Sahib.
No, sir, nothing.
Yeah, okay. Getting a bit too complex, guys. Am I going too fast? Do you want me to slow down a bit?
Sir, I have a question.
Oh, yeah, Shekhar, go ahead.
Yeah, sir. Actually, I need to understand this course. Actually, this is new for me totally.
Right, right, right.
Yeah, and sir, actually, basically, I completed MCA in 2020, and after that, I was preparing for civil services. But
Uh-huh.
now already have 3 to 4 years of gap, sir, and
Okay,
jump into this IT field.
okay.
So, so could you please guide me, sir? Is this okay to take this course for?
Do you have any prior ID experience, Shekhar? Before this?
IT I don't have, sir, but completed master in computer application and couple of trainings I
Right.
have. Some institute certification I have.
Certificates, okay. No problem. Shouldn't be a problem, Shekhar. There is a gap in your experience, but you can fill that up. So basically, this is a course for people who are just getting into cybersecurity domain, irrespective of what domain you have worked earlier in. This is a completely new shift. So again, and one of the easiest domains to enter in the IT domain because this requires very little amount of coding. Okay, all that you have to learn in cybersecurity is
Okay.
to use certain tools, okay, which you might not have access to easily, but again, there are ways to get it. But if you're mastering those tools, it is more than sufficient. Okay, you can also start doing it as a pen tester on freelance basis as well. Okay, but that is secondary. The thing is, even if you don't have any technical experience prior to this, if you're just mastering these tools, which I'm going to tell you about, tools like Tenable Nessus, Enma, Burpsuit, Metasploit, Wireshark. Okay, there's a lot of tools we'll be covering in this course. If you're mastering those tools, that is the same exact tool that is required in any job description as a pen tester. Okay,
So,
and
so
to
what
fill
would be
that gap, you
uh,
can, yeah,
profile?
Shekhar.
This is a SOC analyst or what kind of analyst role I'll get?
No, this is penetration testing. So in cybersecurity, you have two domains or two diversions. One is SOC, which you have mentioned, and the other one is NOC, Network Operations Center. SOC, Security Operations Center, is all about analysis, threat analysis, incident response. Okay, they use SIM tools, SIEM tools. Okay, tools like Splunk, Alien Vault, etc., where
Hmm.
they're analyzing for threats. This is
Okay.
not that. This is not Network Operations Center, basically where you're testing the security of every device. Okay, in your organization, whatever devices might exist, it's your responsibility as a pen tester to see to it that none of those devices contain a loophole. Okay, if there are any loopholes, hackers can attack those devices and steal your information. Okay, so we as penetration testers test the security of any device in the network or any application in the network, your web applications, your third party applications, your network endpoints, mobile phones, routers, switches, web servers, firewalls. Okay, in NOC, as a pen tester, that's what we do, finding vulnerabilities in these devices or applications and remediating those. Patch management. Okay, so that what we are learning is NOC, not SOC. Although I will include some topics from SOC as well, but this is almost 80% of the course will be relevant with NOC itself, not for SOC. Okay.
So which career roadmap is good for me, sir? Could you please?
I would recommend going with NOC itself because those are at least higher paying job roles comparatively. And there's a lot more openings in NOC compared to SOC. Okay, because SOC is a bit stagnant. You just have to perform analysis and you get stuck there
Hmm.
as a junior analyst or so. But in pen testing, depending on your skill set and your experience, there's a much faster progress. Okay. Does
Okay.
definitely require you to put more effort because it's not as simple as analyzing data. It's
Oh.
more about you finding vulnerabilities constantly in devices or in applications. It's all about rigorous testing. So again, definitely tougher, but definitely much more fruitful, I would say.
So initially we'll go NOC, later after 2-3 years we can go to SOC, right, sir?
You can definitely you can shift. It's that is much more easier actually from
Okay.
knock to sock. From sock to knock, it's not that easy.
Okay, okay. Cool, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, Baba Singh, you've raised your hand.
Yes, sir. Currently, sir, I am working as a application production support, application support. So, is it okay to take this cybersecurity course?
Definitely. Again, if you're already in the IT domain, it's an added advantage, guys.
Yes, I
You're not in the
already.
IT domain, it might again be a tad bit tougher, but again still possible. So if you're already in the IT domain, then shifting and much more important, not important, I would say much more beneficial if you're already in a testing domain. That is even more beneficial because you already know some of these concepts which we'll be covering. Okay, you'll have a slight edge because you know what these vulnerabilities look like. Okay, and you'll go a bit more step further ahead than that. Okay, so again, definitely good enough if you're in the IT domain, Papa Sahib.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions, Baba Sahib?
Sir, currently I have around 7 year experience, so it make difficult to me.
No, again, the thing is since you're already in the testing domain, as mentioned, application support, you
Application
can.
support, sir. Application support. There, I use tool like Linux and SQL only.
That's completely fine because again, we perform Linux hardening as well in this course. You can definitely add that as your experience. You shouldn't let that go waste. So you can add, you can just tweak your resume a bit, but you can as you can show it up as if you've worked with security features as well in that existing job role. So that gives you an added advantage to add that or show that also as cybersecurity experience, and then convert it into a much more experienced job role for cybersecurity when you're applying for a new position. So
Oh,
definitely good enough, Baba Sahib. That shouldn't be a problem. I've had people who have come from just developers or who have just been in QA testing, and I've asked them to convert that slowly or tweak their resume slightly to show that they've worked in cybersecurity as well, so that that experience doesn't go waste. Okay, and rather than you starting it as freshly again in cybersecurity, you can start as an experienced person because you'll already be learning the tools which you work in the organization. I'll be showing you that. So that itself shows up as if you have experienced like 2-3 years at least in cybersecurity. Okay, so again, this course will give you that advantage where you don't have to start from scratch, even if you're an experienced person. If you're completely starting from scratch, also you'll have all the advantage of these tools that you're learning. And if you're experienced, they will give you that added advantage to apply for experienced job roles. Okay. But the thing is, you just have to tweak your resume a bit. I'm gonna show you how to do that as well, how to build your resume in a certain way so that you can basically take advantage of your existing experience. Okay. Don't worry, that I'll share that information.
sure. Thank you.
Any other questions or doubts, guys?
No.
Others, Rafat, Saif, Ravis, KG, Sai Kumar, Shekhar.
No from my side.
No, sir, nothing.
Right. Moving on, so when we talk about this gaining access module here, the first topic we learn here is system hacking. So basically, in your organization, your employees will be using their endpoint devices, their desktops, could be Windows or could be Linux operating system devices. So that is the first step, learning how to secure those devices. If those devices are attacked and if you have been locked out of your own system, how do you crack the password for that system and get back access to your data? How do you crack? Excuse me, how do you crack passwords, bypass passwords, and get access to those devices? Is what we learn in system hacking. Then comes malware attacks. What are malwares? What are the categories of malwares? How do you create malwares? How do you defend your system from malwares? And how do you detect malwares if they are already installed in your system without your knowledge, if they are secretly hidden in your system? How do you detect those malwares? We'll be learning everything from the very basics to the advanced level on malwares. Then comes network penetration testing. What are the common attacks possible in a local network? Attacks like sniffing attack, man in the middle attack, denial of service attack, hacking Wi-Fi routers, cracking the password for Wi-Fi routers. All of this falls in network penetration testing. Using these attacks, hackers can capture your data in a local network. So let's say if you're connected on a public Wi-Fi network, airports or cafes or whatever it be, and if there are other people in the network who have some knowledge on sniffing tools like Wireshark, they are capable of capturing your data actually. They can see what data you're sending from your devices if they're connected in the same network as you. So that is called a sniffing or man in the middle. Okay. Then there's denial of service attacks. Hackers can shut down remote servers by overloading them with huge amounts of traffic. Okay. And when the server crashes, that server is denying the access to the actual clients. So that's called the denial of service attack. Okay. We'll be learning how these attacks are made possible and how do you prevent these attacks. What are the steps to take to keep your network secure from these different attacks? Then comes hacking wireless networks as well. If you have a Wi-Fi router, how do you check its security? And if that security features are not implemented, how can you easily crack the Wi-Fi passwords? We'll learn that also. Okay. Then comes social engineering. This is a very excuse me, have a bit of a cold. This is again a very prevalent attack in the recent times, especially this has been, I would say, in the boom or a lot more popular since COVID because everything has shifted online. So there's a lot of transactions happening online. There's a lot of communication happening online. And again, that leads to a lot of cyber threats as well, where hackers are creating exact replicas of login pages. Could be your social media web page, could be your bank login page, could be your employee login page, corporate employee organization login pages. Hackers can create exact replicas, okay, of any website in the world. And once that website is sent to you, if you're not careful enough, if you enter your credentials in that, those go directly to the attacker, and you wouldn't even have a clue about that. Okay, so we learn how these social engineering attacks are performed, how do hackers perform these phishing attacks, and how do you verify whether a page is safe or not, genuine or not. Okay, then comes hacking web servers or web applications. This is basically where we learn backend and front end security. So for the organization, the face on their internet is the website itself. Okay. So and these websites are hosted on web application servers. Okay. So we learn what these servers have as vulnerabilities or misconfigurations on the backend, or on the front end, on the website, what vulnerabilities exist. Just like I've shown you an example like cross-site scripting, there are other vulnerabilities also. SQL injection, broken authentication, file upload vulnerability, whatnot. These vulnerabilities can allow attackers to gain unwanted access in the servers. Okay, you can log in as other users. You can steal others' credentials. You can execute malicious applications on the website and get remote connection to the server. All of these are possibilities of attacks on websites. We'll practically be working on that in the upcoming sessions. And during this module, we'll be working on a very important tool, which is called burp I'm pretty sure you might have heard about this if, again, if you have researched about cybersecurity. One of the most popular tools in web application pen testing. Okay, and we'll be practically working on this tool called burp as well. Okay. Moving on, after this, we have the next topic called evading techniques. So if your organization has security measures, firewalls, intrusion detection systems, intrusion prevention systems, having those devices is not sufficient. Having them configured right is what matters the most. If you're not configuring them right, they're utterly useless, I would say. Like, you can easily bypass them and still access the network, even with all these security devices, if they are not configured the right way. Okay, so learning what those configurations are is what we learn in the evading technique. And if those configurations are not properly there, how do you bypass them? That is what we learn as the attack method. Okay. Then comes vulnerability assessment. This is where we'll be working on the report from the earlier stage. So in the earlier stage, we'll be using a tool called Tenable Nessus, if you remember. This Nessus tool will give you a report. Okay, so you can generate a report out of this. And from that report, you perform vulnerability assessment, assessing every vulnerability, checking if that vulnerability is truly existing or if it is a false positive. So you attack on every single vulnerability shown here, verify how impactful the vulnerability is, if it is working correctly or not. Okay, and how do you remediate that? Okay, what are the patches to apply? All that is called as vulnerability assessment. Okay, that's what we'll practically see here. And in this module, we'll be working on a tool called Metasploit framework. Okay, so again, these are again some tools are available as open source, some are not. I'll be showing you both things. Okay, it's the same things which I used in my organization as well. Okay. And finally, we have hacking mobile phones, where we learn how to attack an Android phone and get remote connections to it through malwares. So the main agenda of this topic here, gaining access module here, is to attack every single endpoint and learn the security of it. We talk about system hacking, we talk about network hacking, we talk about wireless security hacking, or we talk about web security, we talk about web application security, we talk about firewall security, we talk about mobile phone security. So every single endpoint that could exist practically in an organization, you learn how to test the security and how to hack or defend each of these devices. Okay. I've not included all the concepts here. These are some of the most important ones. We have a lot more content as well compared to this. Okay. Moving on, after all this is done, then come the last two phases, which is maintaining access and reporting or clearing traces. Maintaining access is where once I've obtained the connection to your device, I need to maintain a persistent connection to that. Let's say if I've hacked your phone, even if your phone gets switched off or even if you restart your phone, I should still be connected to your phone. That's called a persistent connection. Okay. Hackers are retaining the ownership of your device. Okay. That's called as maintaining access, and I'll show you how that is done. Okay. Then finally, we have reporting or clearing traces, where as ethical hackers, once you have obtained the last stage of maintaining access, you then generate a proper report for the organization, elaborating the exact techniques you have followed, elaborating what vulnerabilities you found, how did you exploit those vulnerabilities, how did you attack the system, and how did you maintain connection with that system. Everything is written in a format, again, in a very well structured or well formatted report and submitted to the organization. So I'll show you how to do that. On the other hand, if you're a cyber criminal, you don't report anything. What you do is you remove the evidence of your actions. So whatever footprints are generated, whatever actions have been generated in the logs, you delete those logs, you erase that evidence so that you can be untraceable. So this entire course is going to show you every single thing in two pathways. How do you attack the systems, which is offensive methods or red team hacking or red team operations. And on the other hand, if you know how to attack it, you need to know how to defend it as well. Okay. So how do you defend the system from the same attack, which is also commonly known as blue team operations? Okay. So that is the end objective, learning how to attack every system and learning how to defend every system from the same attacks and constantly learning what are the latest attacks available in the networks in these days. Okay. That's the main agenda of this course, and that's what I've been doing for the last, I would say, at least 4 years. Okay. Before that, I was in SOC analysis. Okay. Then I've shifted to NOC. And I know that was a tougher path for me. So that's why I prefer telling students to go from NOC to SOC if they are interested, rather than from SOC to NOC. Because in NOC, you know what the attacks look like. You wouldn't know that in SOC. So if unless and until you have a better understanding of what these attacks are, how these attacks are possible, you wouldn't know how to detect those. Okay. So what we are learning here is Network Operations Center now as a penetration tester. Once this course is done, you can apply for all of these job roles mentioned here. So if you scroll down, these are all the job roles that you can apply for once you have learned CEH. Okay. Cybersecurity auditor, security administrator, ethical hacker, penetration tester, okay, network security engineer, or information security manager. These are all the job roles that you can apply for depending on your experience in the domain. Okay. Excuse me. Now, brief and more information on the course. The course is for a duration of 35 days, guys. You have classes from Monday to Friday, every day for 1 hour each. And the batch starts from tomorrow itself. The first class will be held tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. in the evening, Indian Standard Time. Okay. It's a time slot selected specifically for people, again, working and again, students as well. It's a suitable time slot for both. So it's in the evenings at 7:30 p.m. And every day we'll have a class for 1 hour each from Monday to Friday for 35 days. Again, for any information regarding the course price, please contact the institute for that. I don't have information on that myself, so you'll have to ask the organization for that. Okay. If you have any queries regarding cybersecurity or regarding the course timings or regarding the course duration or any topic that we have learned in the demo today, you can ask me right now. Okay. So, I think it's the same link, guys. I'm not sure. Please contact the institute once, or I think they've dropped it in the chat box as well. Oh, yeah, I think they've dropped it in the chat box here. This is the link for the sessions from tomorrow.
Sir, should get recording for this? Not.
Yes. Oh, sorry. I forgot to mention that. All of these sessions are recorded. You'll be getting the recordings. You'll be getting the materials, all these presentation slides, all the notes that is required. and the official EC Council material as well. That material is only provided if you register for the certification. But since I already have access to it, I'll be sharing that for free. So you have all the material access, all the video access, all the presentation access, everything included in the course itself. Okay. Oh, just give me 1 minute, guys. I'm so sorry. Excuse me for a apologies about that. Someone was at the door. So any questions or doubts up to this point? Rafat, Saif.
What about certification fees, sir?
You'll be getting the course completion certificate after this, Babasai. But if you're interested, you can write the certification exam from EC Council. So once you're done with the course, you'll have all the content more than sufficient to attend the exam as well. Okay, and the certification is quite costly actually. I would recommend doing it if, again, if you are right now able to afford it, or if not, at least later after you join the company can sponsor it as well.
Okay.
So again, this is around $500 certification. Again, this from the EC Council, but you will be getting a valid course completion certificate from the institute, which is I would say accredited with EC Council, and it's going to show you that you're certified from DURGASOFT from cybersecurity. But if you want a certification from EC Council, you have to write an exam for that, and you have to pass the exam, which is going to attempt it. You'll be it's charging around $500.
Okay.
Right. And I do keep getting discount coupons, guys, from the EC Council organization. So if anyone is planning on writing the certification, do let me know. We can reduce that price a bit more. Okay. So, but again, usually what students do is once they're done with the course, and again, if they're already in their existing domain in the organization, companies usually sponsor it so that you don't have to pay it out of your pocket. But if the company is not sponsoring it, you can again just there are alternatives. If you are not able to afford it right now, I'm going to show you what you can do to make your resume show as if you're skilled. The main purpose of the certificate here is to show that you have learned the content and you have applied it practically. But there are other ways to do that for free. So I'm going to show you what those methods are, how you can include certain topics or certain things in your resume which show that you're skilled itself. Okay, so I'm going to explain that. Again, completely free. You don't have to pay anything for that.
Sure.
So yeah. Any other questions or doubts?
No problem, sir.
Okay. Arafat, Ravas, Shekhar.
Yeah, one question from my side, like,
Yeah.
so there will not be any coupon provided or something as part of this course, right? For writing the CH exam.
Not a part of this course. If you're planning on writing it, I do keep getting coupons myself, Ravas, since I have contacts with EC Council. So if you're planning on writing it, just let me know. I'll share it individually with the student, whoever is interested.
Okay, okay. Yeah, actually, I was planning to write, and before that, I thought like, okay, to gain some insight, and that's why I joined here. So once I
Sure,
gain
sure,
the
sure.
insight, and then we'll write the exam.
Sure thing. You'll have my number in here. Once you have registered for the course, I'll be sharing my personal number. So you can contact me on that once you feel ready for writing the exam. And if I have a coupon, I'll share that with you.
Okay, okay, sure.
Okay, sure, Ravas.
Actually, I pinged here in the chat section regarding directly to DurgaSoft, like one to one regarding the fee structure and all about the exam. So, but I didn't get any reply. So maybe I'll
Uh,
have to call on the number, right?
Yeah, you can call them on the number, Ravas, actually. I think they've shared
Okay,
their
okay.
number in the chat. If not, you can just directly call them from their website. You can get the number.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Just tell them that you have attended the demo today and you're contacting regarding that.
Okay, okay. I have registered for tomorrow session as well because the link
Perfect.
was provided. So I'll be
Oh,
joining tomorrow.
sure, sure. It's at 7:30 in the evening, guys. Just a quick heads up. So please do join the
Yeah,
sessions from tomorrow. We'll have the first class from the course tomorrow itself. Okay. We'll be including some
Or evening?
prerequisites. Sorry,
7:30 evening or morning?
evening, Baba
Okay.
Sahib,
Okay.
7:30 p.m. in the evenings, not morning. Okay. So again, this course will include a few prerequisites as well. So tomorrow we're going to talk about networking fundamentals. Okay. What are IP addresses? What are IPv4 addresses, what are basically classes, public IPs, private IPs, because not everyone might be from a technical background. What we have done is we have included those prerequisites in the course as well. So you have an easier understanding of all the topics, because throughout the sessions we'll be working on IP addresses. And if you don't know what an IP address is, everything would seem a bit complex. Okay. So we'll get that out of the way. We'll talk about networking fundamentals in the next session, and the session tomorrow at 7:30. Okay. So if possible, try doing some research on that. If not, no worries. Again, if time doesn't permit, don't worry. We'll learn everything from scratch. Okay. So yeah, bye-bye. Have a good day. Thanks for joining the session today, guys. I'll see you tomorrow
Thank you so
at
much.
7:30. Okay. Oh, hi, Kiran. You've raised your hand.
Yeah, sorry. Actually, sorry, man, like I joined just 2 minutes, before actually. See, actually, I just want to connect with you because due to some personal work. Okay. I just joined late. Sorry for that. See, man, like I'm a working employee. I'm a working as a senior Java developer in one of the top MNC company. I joined this course. Actually, I want to learn, hacking. So ethical hacking. So actually, I want to know, is there any future in this way, like as a Java developer, can we switch in a career, or like I need some, guidance like for that.
Definitely. Again, since you're already a developer, you have knowledge on a lot of these applications that are being built. And the main purpose of cybersecurity is to test those same applications, right, Kiran? So again, if you're this course's objective is performing pen testing on different endpoints in the organization and the applications as well, whether it be web applications or third-party applications or whatever it be. So if you're a
Yeah.
developer, I think I've already mentioned that a few minutes ago as well. If you're already into the ID domain, and more important, if you're into the testing domain, this is a much more preferred course because you already have some information on what the code looks like and what could be the loopholes that could exist. Okay. So definitely beneficial if you're already in the development domain or the testing domain in IT.
Yeah. So
Much
actually, the
easier.
thing is, like actually, see, the thing is like what I hear actually. So there are two part are there actually. I'm a little bit confusing actually. Can you please help me on that? So one
Hmm.
is DevSec engineer, okay, and one is your application security engineer. And what is the you're learning actually? You will teach it. Which one actually?
We are again, we are not going into source code review, Kiran. This is more of a pen testing for every endpoint in the organization, and as
Okay.
included web application pen testing as well. So when you talk about DevSecOps or DevSec engineer, you're also learning how to develop the applications from the very start. As you're developing it, you're testing the security as well
Okay.
simultaneously. Your
Okay.
application engineers are people who already have the ready-made application and then they're testing it on the front end, SAST. DevSec is SAST and application is your DAST, dynamic analysis security testing, or code analysis is your DevSec thing. Okay.
Okay.
So
This
what
is
we'll be
this is
working
this is
on
all
is
about, like, your course is all about securing the applications, right? Like giving.
application and network devices mostly. So
Okay.
whatever endpoints you have, firewalls, networking routers, your switches, your web servers, your
Mhm.
client operating system devices, and web applications, which could run on web servers. Okay. Not your,
Okay. Then
yeah,
then what we can say, like this, this role, what you can say, like what kind of we can
penetration
say.
tester. As mentioned, these are all the job roles that you can apply for. Oh, did I close that? If I go back to the browser, I've shown that this is all the list of job roles that you can actually apply for. Just a second. Penetration tester, security administrator. Yes, as you can see, cybersecurity auditor, penetration tester, ethical hacker, okay, threat modeling specialist, cyber delivery manager, secure IT security admin, network security engineer. Okay, these are all the job roles that you can apply for.
And you're a working person.
Yeah, I'm working in this exact domain. I'm a senior penetration tester, currently
Okay.
working in Visakhapatnam in Andhra Pradesh. Been working
Okay.
in the same domain for the last 7 years, working as a
Okay.
senior penetration tester for the last 4 years.
Yeah, yeah, thanks, man. I also having 7 year experience as a backend developer. So I mostly worked on microservices, all the thing. Okay, so as you know, right, deployment, all the things. Those things also I'm working. My question, like, so if I switch my career, see, not I'm not don't want to switch. Actually, I want to go through my development, and also I need to learn these things. Okay, so I think in future that should be a better career opportunity, or so
Definitely, right? Because you're adding another feather to your hat, and you can apply for cyber security job roles in this domain as well. So you open those doors to apply for security. Again, you're the same ones: application security engineer, okay, or the if possible, You can also apply for there's one more job role.
Yeah, hi
You have
Kiran. Uh,
Yeah, hi.
Kiran, even I'm also a working professional, and I also come from the same domain that you are, referring. So it
Yeah.
started with as a backend developer. Now, playing a role of a team lead and as a full stack developer. And
Mhm.
kind of I have not too much, but can say like 20-30 hours of hands-on experience with penetration testing also. So I can say like it will be a added benefit for you. So in future going ahead, like you can utilize, maybe you might be working as a developer as of now, but if you're not planning to directly switch to this domain itself, but it will surely help you to write a secure code. So you will be able to think like, if I'm developing some API, how can I securely develop that API, that if
right.
someone is no, trying to access that API, so what are the data that I need to present or I need to validate before hitting the database. So these all things you can understand in a kind of better manner.
Okay. Okay.
So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah. Thanks.
yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry
Yeah.
for
Thanks, man. Yeah.
disturbing.
Thanks. No. No.
Perfectly
No. No.
worded.
Yeah.
That
Thanks.
was
Yeah, see, man, see, I work on multiple other clients also, so I'm also working in the TL. So the thing is, see, in my office work, I'm taking 2 3 hours. I'm completing my job, okay, and parallel I'm taking some project outside. So the thing is, learning required. One of my teacher actually, he working for the principal, cyber security engineer in Hyderabad. Okay, he told me to learn this part. Okay, so that should be improve your, career also, and if you can switch also, you can work multiple things. And it's not like if you learn cyber security, then we cannot understand how, or we can forget, what we already working in 7 or 8 years. Okay, so that is not. So that's I'm saying that. So it is better we can move, right? So there's no problem, right? So we can add a.
why would it be a problem, Kiran? There's no such problem as such. You're just adding more knowledge to your skill set. You're adding more things to your skill set, right? So definitely it's going to be advantages itself. You're not losing anything here.
Yeah, no. Actually, see, bro, like, what actually, na, so I hear somewhere, like, no, see, the colleagues are there, right? So they told, like, no, the in cybersecurity, they, for example, if you're a Java developer, any developer, right? So we have, some the sources are there, right? We can take some help. Say, for example, some documentation there. But cybersecurity, I don't know. Actually, I not actually done some researches on that. So I don't know whether they have some, some provided some guidelines or something. Okay, so they have some, support kind of things. Okay, how we can explore on that, right? So yeah, that's how I say that.
Oh, yeah, there's no one single source of documentation, I would say, because in cybersecurity, it's all about compiling various different tools together
Mhm.
and learning, again, the security of the entire organization. So, as a
Mhm.
pen tester, you would have to, there's no one single tool that you would use. Throughout the demo, I've shown multiple different tools that ours has been there. So, again, as mentioned, one aspect of that is your application testing. Okay, so for that, again, there are separate tools, Burp Suite, your Tenablenesses, your Metasploit framework, etc., etc. So there's no one single source of documentation. You might not find that as well. But yeah, there are documentations from various sources that you'll have to compile and learn it. And to ease that process out, we have the cybersecurity trainers and stuff.
Sure, man. No problem. Then how? So actually, I had to go through your recording. Okay, so no problem.
So the
And
session is
yeah.
being recorded, Kiran. So I would definitely recommend going through the session once if possible. You have joined a
Sure.
bit late, therefore, again, and I frankly speaking, I've answered all your questions because all the other students also had very similar questions actually. Okay. So if
Yeah.
time permits, go through this demo recording. This will be uploaded on YouTube actually. Since this is a free demo, it will be uploaded on YouTube in a few hours maybe. You can just search for cybersecurity demo DurgaSoft. Okay. You can
Sure.
filter
Sure.
the recently uploaded one, and I'm pretty sure you'll get all your questions answered if you just go through it one more time. Okay.
Yeah. So actually, I'm the old friend of Durga, sir. So I know him. So no problem. So no problem, man.
Oh,
Like,
sure. Yeah.
thanks, man. Like, and the duration should be how many months? It should be
35 days, 5 weeks.
okay. So you can do all the practicals, everything, right?
Yeah. More than sufficient. I'll be showing you all the tools in these 5 weeks of classes itself.
Okay, no problem, man. Actually, I feel good. Like you're a working person, so that should be better. Okay. Thanks,
Okay.
thanks, sir. And the other person who told me, right? Thank you, man. Like, thank you for your.
Thank you, Ravis.
It's always better to share and learn together.
Definitely.
Sure, man. India is
Uh,
developing, right? So we need developers.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Okay, guys.
Thanks,
So I'll
guys.
see you tomorrow, guys. As mentioned, the class will be at 7:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time. Please do join the session tomorrow without fail. We'll be talking about networking fundamentals, a prerequisite, which is very important. Okay. If you already know this, it might seem a bit repetitive, guys. But again, I'm taking this course in a way as if you're completely new to this domain. I'm teaching you everything from scratch. Okay. So a very important fundamental, which will be helpful for throughout the course. We'll talk about networking tomorrow. Okay. Bye bye. Have a good day. See you tomorrow at, at
Thanks,
7.
yeah. Thanks, man. Yeah, bye. Bye.
Thank you, guys. Bye.